Think about the last time you saw news coverage of a protest. Did the headline call it a peaceful demonstration or a violent riot? It was the same event, but those two phrases create completely different realities. That's because texts don't just show us the world, they actively construct our understanding of it. Every representation is a choice, a decision about what to include, what to exclude, and what to emphasize. It's not a clear window onto reality, it's a carefully framed picture. So how is this picture framed? It starts with language. Calling someone a freedom fighter versus a terrorist changes everything, even if their actions are identical. It's also about structure. What a text puts first seems most important, and what's left unsaid can be as powerful as what's shouted from the headlines. Crucially, it's about perspective. Whose voice tells the story? A first-person account from a protester offers an intimate, limited truth. A third-person, seemingly objective view can hide its own biases. Texts construct big ideas too. In Orwell's 1984, Big Brother isn't just a character, he's a representation of total control, shaping how we think about authoritarianism. Ultimately, analyzing representation is about understanding power. Who has the authority to tell the story? Whose version of reality becomes the accepted one? These constructed narratives can reinforce dominant ideas and stereotypes, or they can challenge them, giving voice to those who have been marginalized. So, the next time you read an article, watch a film, or scroll your feed, don't just be a passive consumer, be a detective. Ask yourself, why this word? Why this image? Why this perspective? Because understanding how reality is constructed is the first step to seeing the world more clearly.